morning, Kimberly Panthers. This is Mr. Sally. Welcome you to another exciting week of virtual and in person learning at Kimberly Elementary School, where we strive to build hope in action, belief in action, success in action. During homeroom, students should quickly finish their breakfast and ensure that they have all their materials for learning. Instruction will begin promptly at 8 a.m. for both our in person and virtual students. Here are a reminder for some expectations for a successful virtual learning experience for our boys and girls at home. Please make sure that you are getting out of bed daily for school, that you find a table to sit at that is clean and organized. You find a quiet place for learning. Keep your technology charged, store your technology in a safe place when not in use. And last but not least, be mindful of the schedule for the day because those schedules are changing this week.
Good morning, my loves. It's Mrs. Reed, your loving school counselor. And today I'm going to talk about the changes we must make as we slowly come back to the building for face to face instruction. So I need you to sit back, open your eyes and ears, and pay attention to the screen. So, as you know, starting on this coming Monday, January 25th, we will have our first rollout of students coming back to school. So I need you to learn how we're going to do things a little different this school year. So I need you to watch and listen. All right, the changes we must make. In order to be safe during the pandemic, we must have new protocols in place. That means there are things that I need you to do every day. And the first one is just like me. As you can see, I'm wearing my mask. Wear your mask every single day. And if you forget, don't worry, we will have one here at school for you. But please, please, please make sure you have it on every day you come to school. Now that you're at school, there are things you have to do differently. With COVID-19 safety, we have to make sure that you wash your hands front and back. Very good. All right. So you're going to wash the front of them and the back of them. Make sure you use sanitizer at every station in the hallway and classrooms. Remember, don't touch your face, don't touch your eyes, your nose, or your mouth. That's very important that you understand that you can't do that now. You need to keep your distance, stay 6 feet apart from each other. You need to stay home if you're feeling sick. And lastly, you need to stay healthy, helpful, and calm. And now that you know that we have new protocols, now let's look at how we need to greet each other. I know you're used to hugs and you get them from your teachers, your staff members, and even from people all throughout the building. But now you can't do that. So I'm going to show you some things that you can do to still give a loving hello to everyone every day. You just got to figure out which one will you choose. You can always wave from afar. You can speak and say hello. You can blow a kiss. You can give hand hearts or heart hands, either way you want to say it. You can give air hugs and definitely give a bow to each other. We have the elbow bump where only your elbows touch. And then there's the morning dab. Good morning. And then there's a hip bump where only your hips touch. But these are just a few of the things you can do. Just remember, we're not touching hands and we're definitely not hugging. Hopefully, you can pick a greeting you will love to. All right, that's about it. I'm going to leave now, but I want to let you know I'm missing you from afar and loving you deeply. I'm Mrs. Reed, your loving school counselor. Bye, my loves.
Thank you, Miss Reed, for those helpful tips. So to kind of remind you, boys and girls, here are some in-person safety and instructional reminders. All students must wear a mask daily that covers both your nose and your mouth. Sit behind your desk shield at all times unless at lunch. Maintain social distancing in classrooms, hallways, and cafeteria. Use your own supplies. Do not share supplies with others. Wash hands frequently with soap and water, or use sanitizer when soap and water are not available. Ensure that your devices are shut down and fully charged overnight because you have to bring those devices as well as your headsets to school and device charging cables each and every day. Have parents complete the daily attestation form. Bring water bottles as fountains are turned off. And last but not least, do not come to school sick. The weather for the week of January 25th through the 29th, we're looking at some warm weather at the beginning of the week. Looks like Monday will have a little bit of rain, but it's going to be a high of 68, so it's going to feel like it's springtime. Tuesday also at highs of 73, but also with rain, feeling like springtime. On Wednesday, our temperatures will start to drop. We'll be at 59, and then on Thursday, 48. Friday, high of 57 with sun. So this week will actually be a mild week as it relates to winter temperatures as we are getting at the end of January, moving into February, getting closer and closer to those spring months where we start having some warm weather again. This year, we're doing something different as you return back to school on January 25th. Our specials will have a rotating schedule. One of the reasons for this rotating schedule is because Wednesdays are now asynchronous, which we've talked about over the last couple of weeks. So what that means is that every day we will announce on the morning announcements or either in your Google Classroom what specials day we're on, and that will determine where you go. So this particular week, because it's the first week that we're returning with students face to face, we're on specials day 1. On Tuesday is specials day 2. On Thursday is specials day 3. Did you see that? We're skipping Wednesday because Wednesday is asynchronous. There are no specials on Wednesday. There are no regularly scheduled classes on Wednesday. Your teachers have independent work for you to do, or they've scheduled you for specific things that they want you to do. And so Thursday is specials day 3 and Friday is specials day 4. Now, guess what? Next week, Monday is going to be specials day 5. That's when it'll get tricky, but we'll talk about that next week. So our only upcoming events for this week are that our pre-K through second grade and our EBD and autism students who elected face-to-face are returning to school. And so I want to welcome you all back to Kimberly Elementary School today. Hey, I just realized I have my camera off, so you can't see my smiling face as I say, welcome back to Kimberly Elementary School. I've missed you so much walking in and out of our school and up and down our halls and in our classrooms, learning all that you can. And I can't wait to get out into the halls today to see you. Our IB learner profile for the for the month of January, we're almost over, is risk taker. Risk taker. So a risk taker is someone who approaches uncertainty with forethought and determination. So they think about the things that they're going to do, even though they know it might be tricky, but they're determined to make it happen because they enjoy taking risks. Because we know what? Without risk, there is no gain. Without risk, there is no gain. But it's important, boys and girls, that even when you take risk, you know that you have a safety net. You have your parents or caregivers, you have your teachers or counselors and administrators that are here to help you when you're taking those risks. So you want to make sure that you're not doing something too risky out there by yourself, but that you always have someone there with you when you're trying something new. Want to say happy birthday to the following Kimberly Panthers. This week we're celebrating Chrissy, whose birthday is on the 25th. Aiden is celebrating their birthday on the 26th. Tatiana is celebrating on the 27th. Yeshua, Israel, and Amari are celebrating their birthday on the 31st. And Mr. Brown in 4th grade is celebrating his birthday on the 27th. Happy birthday, Kimberly Panthers. And now for a few announcements. Our Return to Learn plan has updated just a little bit. Our pre-K through second grade and special ed low incidence students are still coming back to school on January 25th, but Our third through fifth grade students won't come back now until February the 8th. Originally, they were coming back on February the 1st, but that has been delayed so that we have actually 2 weeks of time with just our pre K through second grade students in our building to get the hang of all of our new routines and all of our safety protocols. And our third through fifth grade students will still be participating in virtual site based learning up until February the 8th. On February the 8th, we will welcome them to our building as well. Now, even though third through fifth grade students aren't returning to in person learning until February the 8th, all virtual and in person students will follow our school hours of 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for instruction, with homeroom beginning at 7:30 a.m., which means parents can drop off their students who have elected face-to-face instruction as early as 7:30 a.m., and our boys and girls at home can get online in their Zoom room as early as 7:30 a.m. in case the teacher has some morning work for you to get done. Do want to continue reminding our boys and girls and our parents, if you have not ordered your free thermometers, please do so. It is extremely important that you get those. This will help us to help you make sure that you're making the right choices when you get up in the morning before coming to school. Because what we don't want are sick children coming to school and possibly infecting other children. It's because so if you are sick when you get to school and we take your temperature and it's high, you will be sent home. So it's important for your parents to know that if they can take your temperature at home and already determine that you have a fever, that they can already keep you at home. So that way they're not on the way to work and then get that dreaded call that says, sorry, you have to turn around and come to the school and pick up your youngster because they have a fever. Now, boys and girls, it's important that if you do have a fever, you cannot just take medication to get rid of the fever and come on to school because that means you're still sick. A fever means there's an infection in your body. So that means you have to be fever free for 24 hours without the use of fever reducing medication. That means no Tylenol or Advil or Aleve prior to coming to school because that means you're still sick and you are possibly contagious. So parents, get your phone out, text Fluency, FLUENCY to 900 900. You're going to get a link that comes to your phone. You're going to download that free Kinza app. You're going to sign up with our school, Kimberly Elementary School, and then you're going to check your email. And then you're going to go back into that app and you're going to order your free thermometer. The thermometer will be sent to the school, and then we will give it to your son or daughter while they're in their classroom. They'll take that thermometer home, and then you'll be able to take their temperature every day when they get up in the morning before getting them ready for school. Now, there was talk about a daily attestation form. And boys and girls, your parents got information about this in our weekly newsletter that was sent home to them via email over the weekend. But now you're finding out about it as well. Now, this is what the form would look like if it were done in paper. But of course, Mr. Sally is trying to make sure that we don't have to kill a lot of trees and waste a lot of paper. So we've created an online form that your parents can access at that web address that's on the screen, or they can scan that QR code. Every day, boys and girls who are returning face to face should have this attestation completed by their parent. It basically asks questions like, have you been in close contact with someone with COVID in the last 14 days? Do you have any of these symptoms, fevers and chills, new cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, etc.? When you were at school last, since you've been at school last, have you been diagnosed with COVID-19? And if you can answer affirmatively to all of those questions, then your child can come to school. Okay. But if in fact you have been exposed to somebody with COVID-19 in the last 14 days, that means you cannot come to school because you may be carrying the COVID-19 virus and not even know it. Boys and girls, you don't have to feel sick and have COVID, but when you do have COVID, likely you will get those symptoms, but you can still spread COVID even if you don't exhibit any symptoms. So that's why it's important that we know, have you been around somebody who was diagnosed with COVID in the last 14 days? Because it takes about 5 to 7 days for the COVID symptoms to even manifest themselves within your body. Another thing that's new that's happening this year is Curb Smart. Curb Smart is a tool that we're going to be using that allows our students to be dismissed from their classrooms for car riders and for buses. So Unlike in the past, when our boys and girls would wait in the cafeteria for car rider dismissal, we're not going to be doing that. Students will now wait in their homerooms for car rider dismissal, and they'll wait in their homerooms for bus dismissal, which we've always done. So what'll happen is your teacher will pull up on their Promethean board, curbsmart.net. They will log into CurbSmart with the login information that was shared with them in their staff newsletter. Then, when your parent pulls up into the parking lot, um, after, of course, after today, because today we're going to have to do this a little bit differently. On this first day, we'll likely still be calling your names over the intercom and handing out these car tags as we can. So it may take a little bit longer with car rider duty. We're going to figure out how we're going to make that happen today. But the parent will drive into the parking lot. Mr. Carroll, who's normally the person who's outside at the cars, will see the car tag in the parent's window. They will put in that number. So for an example, if your car tag 001, it will then be attached to all of the people in your household. So if you have a brother or sister, that will be their same car tag number. And then you, in your teacher's classroom, because they have CurbSmart pulled up on their Promethean board, you will see your name displayed on there saying it's time for you to be dismissed. At that time, you and your teacher will see that on the screen, and the teacher will dismiss you. You will then exit your classroom, making sure that you travel down the hallway in the correct path, and you will come on downstairs and outside the front doors to greet your parents and get in the car and go home. So, again, you won't be dismissed from your class until your name appears. But we will start this. We're going to practice with it on Monday. And by the end of the week, it should be a well-oiled machine because, of course, we have not been able to give the car tags out to your parents yet. So our plan is to give those out to them today um, as they um, as they come to pick you up today. And then we'll give them to you to take home to your parents. Now, we're going to give these tags to every Kimberly student, whether you are a car rider every day or whether you might just be a car rider 1 or 2 days and the other days you ride a bus. Now, for our bus students, it's going to be similar for you as well. When your bus comes up, we haven't decided yet if we're going to call the buses out over the intercom or if we're going to put them into this CurbSmart and have those students' names appear in the classroom. We may do both of those things. So just either keep an ear out or keep an eye out, and you'll see how we're going to do that this afternoon. Speaking of the buses, APS has rolled out a new bus tracking app for parents. I know many of your parents are always saying, man, well, what time is that pesky bus going to get here? I've been waiting outside for 10 minutes. Or, man, I just missed the bus. It came a little bit early today. So now APS has rolled out an app that I actually use with my boys and girls who go to school in another school district. It's called Here Comes the Bus. And so what happens then is as the bus gets close to your house, GPS tracking software notifies your parents via the app that the bus is close. Now, does that mean that we wait in our houses until the app goes off? Oh, no, we can't do that because sometimes that notification to your phone is delayed. But what isn't delayed is if you go into the app and you want to see where the bus is, it will let you know where the bus is and so if the bus is close to you or not. But you don't want to wait for the notification to go off because we all know that sometimes the notifications work on our phones and sometimes they do not. But it's still important for our parents to log into there because if you're looking for your bus or you want to know what time your bus came, it will let you know that. So what you do is you can either scan that QR code down the bottom and you can download the app from either the App Store or Google Play Store, or you can go to herecomesthebus.com and download the app from there. You're going to click sign up. You're going to enter our school code of 87794, and this is the code for every student within the Atlanta Public Schools. You're going to complete the user profile, and then your parents under My Students will add your name by entering your last name and your student ID number. So they're going to need your student ID number in order to do that. If you need help with the student ID numbers, parents, just reach out to your classroom teacher or log into the parent portal because that's exactly where you'll find it. Want to continue reminding our boys and girls and our parents especially that our meal kits are only distributed now on Wednesdays between 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. and they're distributed at one of the 10 pickup sites or along the bus routes because of course we are asynchronous on Wednesdays, so there are no bus transportation for students on those days. Our transportation personnel are supporting distributing the meal kits on Wednesdays. And we talked about Asynchronous Wednesday, but we'll continue with Asynchronous Wednesday every Wednesday. And it's home-based virtual for all students, even those students who elected face-to-face. So what does that mean? That means that our face-to-face students only come to school 4 days a week. They come to school on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday. But on Wednesday, all of our boys and girls are virtual asynchronous this year. Next year, we're looking at doing something a little bit different on Wednesdays, where if we're still in this particular environment, you will likely be synchronous virtual, which means your teachers will actually be teaching you new lessons on Wednesdays. But this year, we are still asynchronous, which means you're going to be working on independent work and assignments, scheduled teacher office hours, interventions, testing, small makeup work, small group work, and the building will be closed on Wednesday for deep cleaning. So any parent who was looking to come up to the school on a Wednesday to talk with either myself or some other member of the school system, our school buildings will be closed on Wednesday. So those who caught me this past Wednesday, that was the last Wednesday that we'll be in the building. I talked to you about this last week, but I also put information in our parent newsletter about the Hawks at Home live basketball workouts. And so all you got to do is go to basketballacademy.hawks.com/live workouts, and your parents can get all the information, or just check our parent newsletter that went home this weekend, and your parents can get more information about Hawks at Home live basketball workouts. Also, I put in our newsletter some information about the Georgia Arbor Day Art and Essay Contest. With this contest, you can win prizes, including monetary prizes, by submitting artwork into Trees Atlanta's 4th annual Georgia Arbor Day Art Plus Essay Contest. This year's theme is wildlife and trees in the city. So students are encouraged to use their creativity to interpret or show us what the theme means to them. The deadline is February the 16th. Winners will be announced on social media on February the 19th, which is Georgia Arbor Day, and the flyer can be picked up in the front office or downloaded from the parent newsletter. And now for a few words of wisdom. Carrie Saxon Perry was the first female African-American mayor of a major U.S. city. Her role models were the women in her family, women she thought were strong, her mother, her grandmother, and her aunt. When she was young, they taught her to persevere. In other words, they taught her not to give up when things get tough, to keep trying, and if necessary, to try again. Miss Perry came from a very poor home, and some people didn't believe in her, but she never let anything keep her down, and she became a leader in her community. The Japanese share this same wisdom when they say, fall 7 times, stand up the 8th time. Today, ask yourself if you are letting anything keep you down. If the answer is yes, get up and get on with it. With something to think about, this is Mr. Sally. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.
Atlanta Public Schools is preparing for Phase 2 of our Return Plus Learn reopening plan, and we want to ensure that you are fully informed and prepared for this next phase. We have developed a phased-in approach for reopening schools that includes teacher preparation days and phasing in students in late January and early February 2021. Students will be phased in beginning with pre-K through 2nd grade and special education on January 25th. Grades 3 through 5, 6th, 9th, and 10th grade on February 1st, and 7th, 8th, 11th, and 12th grades on February 4th. Our plan includes 3 instructional delivery models. Number 1, site-based virtual learning. Number 2, face-to-face. And number 3, Atlanta Virtual Academy. What will in-person instruction look like? For those of you considering the face-to-face instructional model, you may be curious about what face-to-face instruction will look like in the classroom. School principals will use the data from the Intent to Return declaration form to understand exactly how it will look. Here's what you can expect from inside the classroom. Everyone will be required to wear a mask for the duration of the school day. Hand sanitizer stations will be available in each classroom. Desks and chairs will be arranged to support social distancing recommendations. Here's what you can expect during a lesson. Instruction in classrooms may include simultaneous teaching, as teachers may have to work with both in-person and virtual learners. Instruction in classrooms will be a combination of hands-on and technology-based activities. All students and teachers will use their own instructional supplies, laptops, or tablets, as there will be no sharing of instructional materials. All classroom teachers will have access to an interactive whiteboard. All students and classroom teachers will have access to My Backpack, G Suite, Zoom, and other instructional technology platforms. Remember, APS has implemented a number of health and mitigation strategies inside of our building. In collaboration with public health officials, community partners, local universities, and healthcare organizations, APS is developing a comprehensive COVID-19 testing strategy. Testing will be made available for students, teachers, and staff with symptoms identified through screening protocols. Students, teachers, and staff who have contact with someone with COVID-19 in the school or workplace, and all students, faculty, and staff with possible exposure in the context of an outbreak setting. Students, staff, contractors, and volunteers will be screened upon entry at all buildings by trained staff to include temperature checks. APS will follow PPE guidelines recommended by the Department of Public Health and Centers for Disease Control, and the following items will be made available in classrooms: sanitizer stations, disinfectant spray bottles, paper towels, and face masks. Learn more about the district's efforts to protect students and staff at www.atlantapublicschools.us/APSprotects, and get more information about our reopening plan at www.atlantapublicschools.us/reopen.
This concludes the weekly announcements. Be sure to be actively engaged in your live lessons starting at 8:30 a.m. daily. I didn't change that. Be sure to be actively engaged in your live lessons starting at 8 a.m. daily. We are Panthers who roar, respect others, own responsibility, always safe, and ready at all times.
Is this